WOD briefing. Let's go ahead and start at the beginning. Okay, you guys have 50 jumping jacks. We're going to start in a nice pencil position. We'll jump our feet out, hands go up. We'll continue on the balls of your feet, bouncing on a cloud, right? Bounce off the balls of your feet and stay light, guys. Next, you guys have a 30-second runner's lunge. We're going to go ahead and start on one side, and you have 3 different segments to this runner's lunge. Okay, so you're going to get down into a lunging position here. Okay, back knee's going to be on the floor, and you guys are going to get your hands on the inside of your foot. And I want you guys to focus on keeping your chest up and pushing your hips forward. Okay, in this first position, your foot's going to be fully in contact with the ground. You're driving through your heel, your big toe, and your pinky toe, and your knee is staying stacked on top of your ankle. So here we're just pushing forward for that first 30 seconds. The next 30 seconds, your foot stays in full contact with the floor, but now we're going to push that knee out, and we're going to continue to drive our hips forward and keep our chest up. On your next segment for this runner's lunge, you guys are going to roll onto the outside of that foot while still pushing that knee out. And we're going to be here for another 30 seconds. Okay? Once you've done that on one side, you're going to go ahead and do that on the other side. Okay? Next, you guys have a 30-second squat hold against the wall. So you can use a wall. I'm going to use this handy-dandy desk that I have, a workbench. I'm going to get my feet set in my squat stance, and I'm going to get my butt up against that wall. My knees are going to go out, right? And I'm going to lean my back against this wall here. So my hands or my elbows are going to go to the inside of my knees. My main idea and purpose here, though, is to keep my torso completely vertical up against that surface. Okay, try not to let your back come off the wall. For those of you guys that have tight hips and we have a hard time getting to the bottom of a squat, the more lean you have into that wall, the lower you're going to be able to get. Okay, but feet stay flat on the floor. Again, elbows go on the inside of those knees, and you try and keep your back nice and flush against that wall. You'll hold that for 30 seconds. Next, you guys have 10 air squats. So feet are going to be just outside shoulder width distance. Toes are pointed out at a slight angle. Arms are going to stay above your shoulders. Hips go back, knees go out. Hip crease passes your knee. You'll drive through your heels and stand all the way up. Okay, so torso stays vertical. Again, hip crease passes your knee. Stand all the way up. Okay. Next, you guys have 10 Cossak squats on each side. Now, we'll go into the difference between a regular side lunge and a Cossak squat in part 2. But for now, I want you guys to get nice and low into this lunge. So your feet are going to be in a nice wide position. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to shift your hips back and then to the side. Okay. And I'm going to come up onto my heel. Okay, once I get up onto my heel, I'm going to get into a squat position. So my torso stays vertical, my hip creases past my knee on this side. I'm going to drive through my heels and stand all the way back up. So again, back, shift, come onto my heel, come back up. Okay, a couple things you don't want to do. You don't want to come onto your toes on these, right? And we also don't want to fold forward. So again, if you have some hip mobility stuff going on, not able to get super low, that's okay. Just push the range of motion the best you can while maintaining contact with the floor. Okay, that might mean that we just shorten that range of motion as far as we can go. Okay. Next, you guys have 10 supine knee to elbow. So you guys will be up in a supine position. Okay, one leg's going to be extended, toe is pointed, and we're going to go opposite knee to opposite elbow, and then switch, and then switch. Okay, those are going to be your supine knee to elbow. We're getting those core muscles fired up here. You're going to give me 10 each side. Last but not least, you guys have 10 push-up pluses. So you're going to be in a plank position. Okay. From here, you're going to give me a push-up. So chest is going to touch the ground, elbows stay tight. You'll come up to the top and then round through your shoulders. And then push up to the top, and then round through your shoulders. If you guys need to go to your knees, you guys can go to your knees for these as well. You guys can even raise the surface that you're pushing off of, again, to like a workbench, a chair, something like that, okay? All right, let's go and talk about part 1. For part 1, you guys have 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps of some bicep curls. Okay, we're gonna get a little pump on today. You guys are gonna be working these as heavy as possible, and then kind of depending on the object that you're using, you'll either go each side, or if you're working a barbell, obviously both at the same time, okay? Couple things with these bicep curls. First of all, make make sure your feet are set on your hips, okay? You're gonna squeeze your quads, you're gonna squeeze your butt cheeks, pull your belly button back towards your spine. You wanna build a stable core. So the last thing you wanna be doing is using your hips to get that dumbbell up near your shoulders. Okay, next thing is elbows is gonna stay tight, and you're going to curl up, okay? So elbows gonna stay tight, and we're focused up to the top and then back down, okay? So again, 8 to 10 reps, so it's depending on what kind of weight you're working on, working with, but you'll do 8 on the right, 8 on the left. And then make sure you're giving yourself about a minute and a half of rest between each set, okay? All right, let's go ahead, let's talk about part 2 today. We'll see you on the other side of this workout, because y'all are gonna go dark, and we'll see you guys on the other side. What do you have today? You guys have 100 wall ball or object shots, 200 mountain climbers total, 100 side lunges total, 200 lateral ski jumps total, and then 100 push-ups, okay? On your wall ball or object shots, you guys are gonna have some kind of object. Like a backpack, okay? Or maybe a medicine ball or a slam ball, okay? Now, finding a place to toss this to, you just want to find an elevated surface. So I'll go outside my garage and I'll do them above the garage here. Let's talk about what I'm looking for on these guys, okay? I'm looking for a squat. So your hips are going to go back, knees are going to go out, hip crease passes your knee. Once you get to this position, you're going to drive through your heels, open your hips up, keeping that object near your face, not letting it drop down. You're going to shoot that object up towards the ceiling or up to wherever you're going to be doing your object tosses, okay? A couple things on that, guys. Make sure you're staying back on those heels, right? Again, torso stays vertical, object stays up near your face, okay? Next, you guys have 200 mountain climbers total. So you're going to be in that plank position here, and we're going to go heel to hand, okay? Nope. On these mountain climbers, try and keep your butt down. Try to touch your butt, come up in the air like this, right? We're going to stay low in that plank position as we go. If we're going to steal, we're going to steal knee to chest. Okay? You can always raise the surface that you're going to do mountain climbing again. So again, you guys can bring your hands up to your workbench, chair, box, whatever you guys have. Okay? Next, you guys have 100 side lunges. That's going to be total, so 50 each side. So we talked about the difference between a side lunge. We haven't talked about it yet, but the difference between a Cossak squat and a side lunge. And the difference is, it's going to be your placement with your heel. So we're not going to be coming up onto a heel here. We're going to keep our feet flat on the floor. So toes are, again, pointed out at a slight angle. You guys are in a wide stance. Hips are going to go back. Same concept though, knee goes out, torso stays vertical, but foot maintains contact with the ground all the way through. So my hips stay back, chest stays tall, try and get my hip crease as far past that knee as possible while keeping my foot in contact with the ground. Next, you guys have lateral ski jumps. So think of yourself as a skier going over some moguls, okay? You guys are gonna start with your feet about hip width distance. You're going to push your hips back, load them up, and you're going to jump about 2 feet to the side. Okay, so feet maintain that hip width distance, and you're going to be jumping from side to side about 2 feet. If you can jump farther, jump farther. Challenge yourself with these, right? You get to make this as hard as you can, as you want to. Last but not least, you guys have 100 push-ups. So on those push-ups, again, hands are going to be just outside chest width distance, feet are together, elbows stay tight. It's just your chest touching the ground. Then you'll walk back out at the top. Okay, make sure our hips aren't dropping, right? It's not our quads and our hips touching the floor. It's our chest. And our chest moves with our body, right? Next thing we don't want to see these guys, right? You got to keep those hips up. If we're going to be scaling those push-ups, you guys can raise the surface you're going to be pushing off of. So again, box, bench, chair, surface, something like that. This is going to be a little bit of a longer workout, probably looking at times around 20 minutes. So keep that in mind as you are going through this. However, you should be picking movements you can move relatively efficiently with all the way through. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to write them below. We'll get back to you guys as soon as we can on those. And we'll see you guys on Monday for a brand new week.